Hi guys, I'm back and I'm really hoping this is in focus. Okay, I have not worn any makeup whatsoever because I should be looking here. I'm so distracted by the screen. I'm just wearing a robe over, so in case anything gets on it, I can easily wash it. Anyway, so I decided to come and do a sit down with you guys. As you can tell, I'm no longer in the living room. So I'm in my room and I decided to do my eyes. I hope I won't look cross-eyed in the actual thing, but anyway. So I could talk to you about things that have been on my mind and also do this. I don't even know how to describe what's going on here. I started taking these twists down. Yes guys, they're twists. They are twists. They are twists. I started taking them down a day ago and I kid you not, my hair has basically locked. So I'm sort of having stutter locks, that type of a situation. But anyway, as I said, these are really off. I'm going to take these off, take this down, and we can begin doing something to the situation. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop looking at the screen now and focus. Do you know what? I think it's best that I just turn the screen back around because it's a myth. Anyway, so we're gonna do this hair. Excuse me. We're gonna do this hair, and we're gonna talk. So to take down this situation, before I show you guys how extreme the situation is, I'm just using some water. This was an old Soap and Glory perfume bottle or body mist bottle, and I basically put in rainwater. So if you want to know why I put rainwater in, let me know in the comments and I'll do a complete video of why I'm using rainwater for this process. So I've got my water here. You could just use distilled filtered water, filtered water, distilled water. I'm using this mask that I'm hoping you guys can see. Anyways, I'm using this mask from Shea Moisture, and it is the Intensive Hydration. Just kidding. Yes, Intensive Hydration hair mask. The Manuka honey and Mafura oil. So I'm using this as sort of like to get sleep. It has amazing hydration and sleep. So these two are my miracle combo, and we're gonna revive my hair and unlock it because I have locks. So that's the bit that I did. So ridiculous. This is literally the bit that I did, and I'm just gonna put that in a ponytail. I'm gonna tie that in a ponytail. So we're gonna begin. Guys, I know. Why does the focus keep shifting? Listen, I know how ridiculous this looks. I really do, but can we just take a moment? Like guys, do you see how my hair has literally, like, this is dreadlocks. Look at this. Look at my roots. Like, there is literally no longer any kind of definition.
In terms of parts, everything is just blurred together. It's not even funny, but it's funny because, like, I feel like it's a way of me trying to vent out my frustration or my fear in having to take things down completely myself.
We're just gonna have to take them down and talk. I'm gonna divide it into two first of all, and then I'm just gonna twist up. I'm just gonna twist up the section. Guys, throughout this whole video, please just pardon me, Pardon me. But for real, like, please just pardon me. Because I can't stop looking at myself through the screen. Okay, I've turned the screen completely around so I can stop messing around. So I'm gonna start, you know what, I'm gonna start by spraying my head with water. So I have this 5-week situation in my head. And by that I mean I have had these mini twists in my hair for 5 weeks. I didn't say I was proud about it. I have legit have these twists in my hair for 5 weeks. And I don't know, guys. There we go. It looks like something now. But I'm just gonna keep spraying like you want them nearly drenched. Alright. I think I'm happy with this amount, and I think it's gonna be easier to take down. I'm gonna divide this again, and let's begin. So guys, I just wanted to talk about a very interesting topic. And this is from like comments that I've gotten from people, or questions rather, that I've gotten from people concerning my family. And nothing negative or anything, but I really don't share much about my family on here because I just want to keep that part of my life separate from this. Maybe in future, as the spirit leads, really, I might need to or be led to share more. Yeah, or as I get more comfortable, whatever the case may be. But as for right now, I don't share much, and that's not because I'm in like the worst family situation or like I have no family, as some people may think. But just because I deliberately chose to keep that part of my life separate from this part, I guess, at least at this stage. So I was thinking about, okay, so let me give it a bit of a backstory. So many of you already know by now that I'm a TCK. I feel like I say this in every video. I'm a TCK. that meant that I spent a lot of time away from my family, general family at large, and I mean blood relations, or biological family, for the majority of my developmental years. So because of that, there has been, I feel like the more that I've matured and grown up, I realize that there is a disconnect and this sort of gap in the relationships that I have with my family, and that my siblings who've gone to pretty much the same thing have, concerning the family or relation to the family. And there's just this disconnect in relationship, and like, I'm not even saying that it's a good thing, but I'm not like saying that I blame myself or blame them for it. It's just one of the things that might happen, especially unconsciously. Like, you really have to be mindful in many of these things, but a lot of these things is like, oh, they're wiser, or hindsight is 20/20. Like, you wouldn't know until you reach that point where you know. So unless somebody perhaps gives you wisdom over it, from their own past experience. So yeah, I've been realizing things like that, and specifically why I started to think about that was recently my grandma came home to live with us, and it's nearly been 1 year of her living with us at home. And I just had a lot of like reflective thoughts about that, and just seeing how my relationship with her is, and sort of has just how it's morphed, evolved, and some of the setbacks and some of the things, like, yeah, so that's what has really led me to thinking about that disconnect. I feel like when we were kids, we had no idea, or going into this third cultural life, when we were really young, we had no idea of the void that might be there, from not spending time or having as close bonds and connections with our family as other... Wow, my dad is literally shouting in the background. Sorry guys, I hope you can still hear me. But as other people have. And I just sort of got turned on to that when I think I was like I'm pretty sure I was at uni. Like, it sounds late, but no, actually I'm lying. I feel like this feeling came in high school in a certain way, and then in university in a certain dimension as well. In high school, it occurred to me that, and only through seeing the relationships between my friends and their parents, so some of the people at the missionary high school, so this was like an American missionary high school. Yes, American missionary high school. And in that high school, there was just like a plethora, like it was literally a melting pot, so many people from different cultures. However, the teachers, most of them were American. I think at that time when I first got there, it was about 99% of them were American. And they came with their families. And a lot of the time I would see the interaction and I would think to myself, like, it's kind of weird. No, but like, I would think, wow, they're really close. And it was just a foreign feeling to me. And that was, I think, the beginning of... Dad! The beginning of like mental enlightenment for myself, where I started to think things through and not be such an oblivious person and just like living life in my own shell, in my own bubble, but really starting to like understand things around me and see things around me. And one of those things was the relationships that people had with their parents, and it was like, wow. And I remember before I got to high school, even junior high, I sort of like elementary and backwards had a very interesting relationship with my parents. I think from birth to about 5, 6, 7, it was really good because it's like, oh, you're a baby princess and everything. But sort of from 8 up to 12, 8 up to 10, let's just say, it was a bit rocky. You know, those tween things were coming in, you know, the turbo 10s. Just kidding, that's not a thing. But just, I was in that tween phase, and I was in that phase of just getting to find to know myself, discover myself. And I spent 1 year or a school year at a Zambian boarding school. So I have been to a Zambian boarding school, but for a year or maybe a little bit less than a year, so I still qualify. So this boarding school was not your, like, this was a boarding school, and it was in, or it is in Monte. And for those of you who know Luengu, that's where I went for about a school year. So it's a 9th grade, 8th to 9th grade. So I say to 9th grade because I was pretty much out even before we had like that examination thing. So yeah, so I went there, and whatever was going on at the time, I was just so out of whack. Like, I was this crazy child that just didn't like anybody. Like, I just didn't like my mom, I didn't like my dad, I was arguing with everybody, and it's really hazy. I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember that I was just out of hand. And my parents made the decision to send me to the boarding school where my brother was, and that's the high school that I'm talking about, the missionary school. So I ended up going there, and I sort of went back and had to start as a freshman, and I hope I hope this is correct. I don't know what's going on with my brain today, but yes, so I got there and I was a little over 10 years old. So 10 years old and some change, and it was just a completely different dynamic. Because before I went there, my relationship with my parents was sort of, yeah, my parents, I do what you say, but I don't like you, and you know, I don't have to like you, I guess. I just have to do what you say that I should do. And there was no connection. We weren't friends. You're not my friend, I'm not your friend. I do what you say, I follow the commandments, end of story, do you know what I mean? And I knew nothing else apart from that, and that's why I say it's really important to, or I really appreciate being a third culture kid, because you really are immersed in so many cultures and your thinking changes. It's unbelievable. So yeah, there I was at Maxwell, that's the name of the school, the missionary high school. So there I was, and I just didn't know. I saw these dynamics, relationship dynamics, and I thought to myself, this is weird, but I like it. I've never seen parents relating to their children in this way. This is amazing, and I feel like I need to implement this back home. I am not happy not being friends with my parents, and I just don't like that gaping hole, that gap that's between us, that is like, I don't even know you like that. And so I got back home, and over the course of the I spent there, I saw from positive and real efforts of trying to change the dynamic between myself and my parents, and I saw a difference in our relationship, and it was amazing. We could joke, and I could literally, like, I was just sort of subconsciously taking in all the things that I had learned, positive things that I had learned concerning relationships, and sort of brought and implemented them, and tested the waters and saw how they reacted, and tested the waters and saw how they reacted. And our relationship is amazing. I can literally talk about any and everything without any fear. And it's a beautiful thing that I can't really explain unless you go through it and you have it and you sort of can tell what it feels like. And so that sort of, all that has been in my head in relationship also with my grandma coming. Because of being a third culture kid, I have not had any really feasible relationship with my grandma. Like, it's just been... So we'd come during summer breaks, and we'd come very rarely. Myself and my brother, we'd come back home very rarely, and we would spend maybe a day, 2 days, at most a week with our grandparents. And by that I mean my grandmas, both sides. And we'd have like split the time into two, see one and then see the other one, because they lived in 2 different places. And just sort of hi, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, hey, what's up, peace, I'm out type of thing. Not really like a tangible relationship. And you know, over the years it obviously gets worse, because the older you get, the more you're into those ways, and it becomes a norm for you. So for us, the norm was, I see my grandma 1 to 2 days, max a week, if that, and that's it. Like, that's Nona, or that's grandma, that's Papa, this is me, and in this box, and sort of just that's it, that's the way things are. And we sort of didn't see anything wrong with it, because that's all we had known, right? So there would really be, like, later on in our lives, efforts from our parents to really get us to understand our grandparents, grandmothers, and spend more time with them and stuff like that. But it was sort of hard, because in the beginning we spent almost 0 time with them, and now it was like you come home and she's home and you're just like, okay, I don't know how to react, do you know what I mean? And it's just like 2 different personalities, and it's almost like having a stranger in your home, in the sense that, like, you know nothing about each other, and it's the most sad thing. But it was a normal thing to us. Like, for us, we saw nothing wrong with it until, like, later on, and I was like, I don't think this is correct. Like, my friends would talk about their grandparents, maybe grandpa or something like that, and maybe they passed away, or just talking about good memories with them, and I just, like, have this feeling of nothingness. I'd just be stoic about the situation and just be like, okay. It just didn't move me. It didn't just... I was just stoic. And I realize now that it's because of that void or lack of that foundational relationship with them. Yeah, and that's why we were sort of cold in that area. So anyway, she's been here for a year now, almost a year and a month, and it's been interesting. It hasn't been perfect, because of course there are those, she's the norm for me and what I'm used to, which is not having a relationship with her. But a lot of my thinking is changing, and has been changing and has changed, and it's like, I want to know her. you know. I know this sounds really dumb, but it's just like I want to know her. I don't feel what I should. I think how everybody else feels. Those people that are lucky enough to have been raised by or spent their lives having good relationships, having relationships at all with their grandparents. And I just want to. I know there's nothing. It feels like nothing right now, but I want to reach that place where I feel something and we have something. And it's not been easy, but we're getting there. And God knows, like, I also, another sort of barrier that's been there is the language barrier. And for the longest time I won't say I had no interest, but I just didn't see the weight of me learning my language. And I know a lot of people will see this and be like, these spoiled kids. Before you judge me, like, you can click away if you feel the need to judge me that way, but you know what? This isn't about you. But I just didn't feel the need when I was small, or younger rather. It just didn't seem like an immediate necessity to me. But growing up, like, my mindset started to change, and I was like, do you know what? I feel like one of the reasons we don't have a strong relationship is because I can't talk to you. Like, I don't have the tools to have a proper conversation with you. There's so many things I want to ask, and I have to ask it through somebody else. And it got frustrating after a while. And I was just like, do you know what? I need to do something about this. And God knows I have really come a long way. And I have been learning my language. And I think very aggressively, from the point that she came to now, it's sort of presented to me firsthand a reason that I needed to learn it. She's 96 now. And sometimes I can't help but, like, think to myself, like, just think about, like, the time, just the amount of time that I've spent, or maybe even I'd stretch it to say wasted, not coming to the mindset that I have right now, and not being mature enough before to realize that I had the ability and the power to mend our relationship, or not that it was broken, but to wedge that gap, to close that gap, and I could do something about that. And it just, sometimes I'm just like, it's too late. is slowly fading. And she's super exhausted. And half the time, she can't even keep herself up for longer than a minute. There is still something beautiful that can come from this. There is still a relationship that you can have. It is not too late. Sorry guys. So it is not too late. And this is my challenge to myself. And this is me being accountable to me. Because I know someday I'm going to watch this back. But this is my challenge to myself. And it is my challenge to you. Because you'll have nobody else to blame but yourself. Unless perhaps the person on the other side rejects your proposal to have a relationship, or your initiation, or just closes you off. If that happens, then it's obviously not anything in your power, and it's not your fault. But if you haven't done everything in your power to mend or to recreate or to create the relationship that is not what it should be or what you would like it to be, 100% you will have nobody else to blame for it but yourself if anything happens. And at the end of the day. So enough of that appeal. Let's get back to doing hair, guys. It's been a crazy journey. It's been a crazy journey, and it's just been all over the place. Learning each other, you know, when I do this, it's gonna make her upset, or when she does this, it sort of triggers me. And learning each other and knowing, okay, I'm navigating, and it's like making friends from scratch. But it's super worth it. It's super worth it. And I praise God, because it's like He knew what He meant by her coming to live with us for this long. Because even in the beginning, it was like, she's coming, it's gonna be uncomfortable. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to act. Like, we haven't seen each other for so long. Now we're gonna have to live together. Like, I don't know how this is gonna work out. And just not knowing how to act, you know. And just, it was crazy in the beginning, but now when I look back and I see, wow, God, there's something that you meant for me to get from this situation. God never brings situations to bring us pain, to bring us anger, to bring us sorrow. But it's, even when it looks like that from the beginning, it's always meant for our good. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. Every single time, even when you can't see it from the beginning, later on, you will always look back and say, wow, God, like, I see you. I see what you've been doing. I see what you're doing. And always, always for your good. Always for our good. Even when we don't see it, always for our good. So that is that. I feel like I want to work on at least half of this and then come back, because I feel like my topic, my rant, my thought session is done. It's done. But my hair isn't even halfway done. So I'm gonna complete this. I'm gonna try my best to complete this. But I'll definitely have to do it off camera. Otherwise this video is gonna be forever. Ever. So yeah, guys, those are some of the things that I've just been thinking about and just pondering. And you know, I'm not perfect even now. I'm definitely not perfect or where I'd like to be or where I'd like our relationship to be. and by our I mean me and my grandmother, is not where I like it to be, but the fact that I'm trying and I'm putting in effort, every day is a new day, one day at a time, and I just keep trusting God to change my character and yeah, just my heart really, and He's slowly doing it, and day by day, and I'm nothing but grateful for that. Yeah, and one last thing I did want to add, and this, it keeps like nudging me in my brain, and that is basically in regards to like relationships, and in this situation obviously I'm talking about my grandma. It can be your sister, it can be your brother, it can be your cousin, it can be your aunt, uncle, uncle, nephew, whatever it is. But I'm gonna use my grandma as an example. I had seen dynamics, relationship dynamics between, or unheard of, between my friends and their grandparents. And sometimes I think, wow, but like these are people who've from birth known them and grown with them and formed that best friendship, you know, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's beautiful. However, I feel like it might make you feel that you sort of have to transfer that exact or copy that exact relationship and fit it into the one that you want to create. And there's nothing wrong with having like a vision of what you want things to be like. But I think it's also very important to accept what the reality is. So for example, you might have a relationship that you're trying to mend or create or recreate, and it takes two people. So the other person is sort of resistant or doesn't want to go at the pace that you are going at. You might need to, you know, tone down a little bit or pull back the reins a little bit, and that's okay. That's no cause for you to be sort of disappointed or upset or feel like, oh, this relationship is not working, and stop trying because it doesn't look 100% like the one that you wanted to copy. We always have to remember, like, comparison is the thief of joy. So always remember that when you're trying to recreate, create, or mend a relationship, it's okay for it to look different than somebody else's, than the next person's, because you're all completely different. Your relationship with the person is your relationship with the person, and it's going to be unique to the both of you. So as long as it's healthy and positive, it doesn't need to look 100% like the next person's. So even though I would spend or do what I need to do to have a better relationship with my grandma, it's completely fine if she doesn't like vegan mac and cheese. It's completely fine if she doesn't want to drink green smoothies with me. Okay, we're gals, but we're not twins. We are not carbon copies of each other. It doesn't need to look like Ashley and her grandma's relationship, where they go and do their nails together and drink green smoothies together and eat the same salads, and you know, that's, I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. It doesn't need to look 100% like somebody else's relationship. So that's it. Daylight is fading and my natural light is starting to disappear. So I'm gonna end this here. I know I've only done like quarter of my head, but or the section that I'm supposed to be doing. I will still come back here tomorrow and show you guys what I'm gonna be doing. I'm starting a hair series So I'm literally wiping the slate clean. I won't delete anything, but I'm wiping the slate clean and starting with like videos of hair care from scratch, literally from the hair washing routine to moisturization to protective styling, and doing that with you guys, and I hope you'll appreciate that. Anyway, until next time, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for being here, thank you for spending time with me and listening to my rant, even though it's not Mask Monday. I really appreciate you guys, and I really appreciate my new subscribers, and I have been seeing you guys. I see you guys, and I'm actually gonna be doing a giveaway and I'm really excited about that. So keep watching, subscribe if you're not already, and like the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching once again. Take care and God bless. Bye.